Hey everybody, this is Notes 36, so we are learning to add and subtract functions. So this is pretty simple. All we're thinking about doing is adding and subtracting. So the trickiest part is just using parentheses. So if I'm looking at these, problems can be written in 3 different ways, and they each mean the same thing. That means that this one and then this one are the same, and these ones are the same as well. So we see f plus g, right? So f plus g there is the same as f of x plus g of x, which is the same as finding the sum of them, right? So f of x, or f plus g, or f of x plus g of x, or sum all mean the same. We also see the same thing happens when we have subtraction. So f minus g of x is the same as f of x minus g of x. And then is the same as the difference we see here. So we know that word difference means subtraction. So all we're going to do is literally add them together and see what happens. So this one says we're going to take f of x and we're going to add it to h of x. So I see here they tell me basically like the directions. So I'm going to look at the directions. This says f of x plus h of x. So I'm going to use f of x, and I'm going to rewrite f of x as 2x squared minus 3x. Right? Notice this little note here, always use parentheses. That's just a really good habit. It helps to not get lost. So I have f of x, and I'm going to add, because it says add, it says h of x. So I'm going to open my parentheses. I'm going to go use h of x, which is over here, negative 4x to the square plus 3x minus 10. Right? From here, I know that I'm going to be adding, so I'm going to look for like terms. So I see this is an x squared and this is an x squared. So I have 2 plus a negative 4x squared would be negative 2x squared. That's like 2 minus 4x squared. I have x's, a negative 3 plus a positive 3 will actually cancel, and then I have plus a negative 10 by itself. So I have that negative 10 right there. So I could say that this is equal to f plus g of x. Right? Remember that this is telling me I'm adding f and g together, and that x is my variable. So the same is true for subtraction. I'm going to find the g of x, and then I'm going to subtract h of x. So I'm going to open up g of x this time. Here's g of x here with 2x plus 1. I'm going to subtract, use my parentheses again, so negative 4x squared plus 3x minus 10. In this case with subtraction, I can see that this subtraction sign needs to be distributed into each of the pieces here. Right? So I have my 2x squared, or my 2x plus 1 is still from the beginning. And then now I have a negative and a negative, which is going to make a positive 4x squared. A negative times positive would be a negative 3x, and a negative times a negative would make a positive 10. When I combine my like terms again, so I see 4x squared is all by itself. I have 4x squared. I have 2x minus 3x, it would be negative x or negative 1x, and then I have 1 plus 10 would be positive 11. So I could say that this is equal to g minus h of x. Just like that. They're fairly simple. For the other 3 examples, it says find the sum of f of x plus g of x. So I'm going to do f of x plus g of x. G of x. I'm going to go back and find f of x. 2x squared plus 3. 2x squared minus 3x. Put parentheses. I'm going to add it to g of x. G of x is 2x plus 1. I'm going to combine these and find my answer. Same is true for difference. I'm going to do h of x minus f of x. Right. Here, this one is h of x plus g of x. And this one finally is f of x minus g of x. Let me know if you have any questions. Should be fairly simple. Thanks.